Alright YouTube, so we have great news for us video game movie fans. The Legend of Zelda has cast Link and Zelda, and the actor and actress are both very young and very unknown, which honestly I'm really a big fan of, because as cool as a lot of the popular fan casts for Zelda, such as Sydney Sweeney or Hunter are, I do think it's cooler to go with unknown, and I was thinking Tom Holland would be like a cool Link, but I'm glad they went with someone even like, a lot, not even younger, a lot younger, because, we want this cinematic universe to be around for a while, and I think it'd be cool to see Link sort of grow up from like the ground under. I think it could be sort of similar to Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars prequels, but maybe a little better, because maybe he'd be a decent bit older than he was in The Phantom Menace, but younger than he was in Attack of the Clones, so maybe that's a little apples to oranges, but point is I'm really happy to see unknown and young faces again in video game movies and movies in general. And I know this movie is being directed by the same guy who made Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes from last year, which I was a big fan of. I especially think that the main protagonist, Noah, was also played by an unknown actor, was super cool, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of like sort of the younger Link kind of character-ish, I don't know, but point is I trust this director very well, as his animation and CGI were top-notch and his story was killer, so maybe Ganondorf will be similar to the evil ape that's name I cannot remember in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is a lot more of a futuristic movie, whereas I feel like the Legend of Zelda movie will be a little bit more of an origin story, which I have no complaints of. But something I do hope they do in this movie is open up with like sort of the pixelated style, at least in the credits. I know that sounds kind of very specific, maybe even a little bit of what they call a niche, but that's how I like it. So I am curious though if Link will be like practical effects on the actor, or if he'll be sort of animated similar to Sonic the Hedgehog, but hopefully the former, because I think it will work well for Link and Zelda, especially since both are so young and probably have beautiful voices too. One thing I will say is I imagine Ganondorf probably won't be a big role in the movie, because as far as I know, he's like a lot more powerful or a super powerful villain, whereas Link is so young, so I don't see him facing off against Ganondorf. But I do hope Ganondorf is mentioned to the movie, or at least, portrayed towards the very end, because that would be so cool. But I hope I don't see what he looks like, although if I do, it's not the end of the world, because I think similar to how in the Harry Potter series they're keeping Voldemort under wraps, and of course I always talk about Nosferatu keeping Count Orlok's look top secret. I kind of think that could work well for this movie as well. I imagine he'll be fighting like sort of minor villains, like sort of the Oompa Loompa Goomba, whatever the hell they're called. I'm blanking on the Mario characters' names, or the Koopa Troopers, sort of whatever the equivalent of that to the Legend of Zelda is probably what Link and Zelda will be facing in this movie. And I will say that I liked the Mario Bros movie and loved Sonic 3. I still haven't watched Sonic 1 and 2 because I'm very lazy and bad at catching up with movies. But how I really hope this movie ends is with something related to a Pokemon upcoming movie, because I know next year we're getting Lego Pokemon, which I don't see being really big news for Pokemon movie, but hopefully this DC Cinematic Universe, Nintendo Cinematic Universe kicks off a potential Pokemon sequel or Pokemon soft reboot from Detective Pikachu, because it's looking a lot more like we'll get a Nintendo Cinematic Universe, and I'm all here for it, especially with the young, fresh, new faces. So thank you, Nintendo, for this amazing casting. I find it super cool and interesting. I'm confident in the director's ability, and I can't wait for this movie and to give you guys more vlogs. Until then, thank you for watching. Goodbye.